the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. Woohoo, party. Woohoo. Chris and I are riding high. We caught a long trade on crude today, and it treated us rather nicely. So, if anything, I'm on a euphoric high right at the moment. Although I should be all staid and calm, and this is just another trade. It's not really that big of a deal. Just trade your setups, put your opinions away. Anyway. I had a fun morning in the crude pits. And actually, interestingly enough, you very rarely see this, but can somebody point to me a bear market? I don't see a bear market anywhere. What the hell's going on? I mean, the only market that's going down right now is the US dollar index. It's the only thing. Everything else is just booming higher. And I actually did see some smart ass guys there saying, oh, yeah, Bitcoin's killing the alts and it. I don't know. I mean, it looks like you tell me. Is that just a Bitcoin only bull market, or is that actually a big ass W in everything? It's interesting. The crypto breadth did roll back over negative, so you can see that we were getting awfully slippery here, and the breadth indicator was kind of like, "Be careful!" And all of a sudden, bottom started to form, kind of out of nowhere, really. And here we are back in the bull phase again. I don't know how long it'll take for things like breadth indicators to roll over. What's fascinating here is that the stock market breadth, as you can see when I show you these daily videos, stock market turned up here on the what was it? It was either a solar or I think the second one was the solar eclipse. But anyway, the eclipse event, then. Buy when it snows. We actually had a Halloween where there was snow all over it and all that. And this market just it spat out a buy, and it just hasn't looked back. And the whole damn market is just lifting here. It's quite remarkable. I feel a little bit bummed about crypto because it's sort of like it's pointing higher. But if you come in and buy up top here, the risks are they're basically flip of a coin. But I've said this to you people, and anybody will listen to me before, and I have to reiterate it. As long as I keep seeing these kind of charts, and here's another one that I wanted to buy, and you can see exactly where I was supposed to buy, and like a dumb fuck, excuse my French, but really there's no other way to describe it. This damn thing's just leaving me behind, bastards. So, I mean, it's just day after day after day of this. And as long as I keep seeing this, I can't see how this crypto market or the risk market is going to roll over. I mean, they just show me a new high and I'll show you, bye-bye, right? Look at this beautiful W, and away it goes, and just huge pops here. So I think it's extremely dangerous to step in on the short side of all this. And algo traders right now are probably cursing my breath, cursing my name under my breath. I think I told you recently that I'm actually using this one in the crypto space as sort of the bull market will officially be on pause if we actually see this thing go and M out here. And you can see it, if anything, it's saying, Brian, screw you and your M's. I'm going to go and put in a W, sucker. And of course, you all know that if I get kind of like 2 W's in a row, or think 3 higher lows, I got to start thinking bullish. So interesting if we actually just take this particular range and draw our bot levels. What could potentially turn into a top might actually just turn into an whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. What do I want to do here? I want to clone this. It's awfully hard to actually talk to you guys and draw these studies at the same time. It's quite a gift that I have. I don't always get it right. Anyway, boom, there we go. Look at that. So you can see how the bot level is setting up right off of that. And you want to see an example of this? This is basically what we did in the crude pits this morning. Where is my crude chart? There it is. This was the opening range trade. And actually, this was an interesting one this morning because the opening range trade did fire to the long side. And I got chicken shit when I saw this M top come in here. And so I was like, you know what? If this M fires, I'm just going to walk away. But what was fascinating about this is that, yes, the market did pull back. There's your stop on the ORT trade. Never did hit that level. And then it goes in and puts in one low, two lows, three lows, four lows, five lows. Well, you know, that's got to mean something like bots. And so you're actually just exactly like that rune chart. This could have turned into some big ugly M here. And actually, this is the M that sort of got me scared. I didn't really want to be long in the face of that. But you can see one low, two lows, three lows, and there's the bot entry level. And you can see Brian went and pulled the trigger. I actually just bought that W because it was just so pretty. And vroom, up we go. So as I had said, I started the video off here today. Chris actually stayed long the opening range trade through the whole thing, and he never got stopped out. Maybe one of these days I'll have Chris come in and tell you about his opening range trade adventures. But I actually was in. I got out at scratch, then I got back in, and I rode the thing up to the top here, and we did actually very, very well today. Can't complain one bit. So you might find the exact same thing kind of happens in these alts, right? And something like that potentially looks like it's trying to M out. One low, two lows. We actually rally up in here, make a third low, and then turn back higher. One, two, three. Hello. You can sort of see it, and like kind of like on the crude, I actually front run that setup and just took that double bottom breakout. I don't know whether I would do this on this one in particular, but if you did get a bit of a consolidation here and you got a third low, then geez, it's getting ready for another leg higher. So, you know, and you just go through these names. I mean, this CPOOL is kind of an interesting one. There was the double bottom. I went and bought some back in the, actually, I think it was in like basically last spring. Trade didn't work, little old lady style. I was supposed to stay focused. You can see the double bottom where I was supposed to add. They even gave me a nice Wyckoff check here. And I just sat there on my ass and did nothing. And I missed that huge pop there. Is this a function of how difficult this trading has become with the DeFi and no more centralized exchanges and stuff like that? I think so. Although I would fully understand if you're just like, Brian, that's just excuses. Get off your fucking ass and put some work in. Anyway, you shake it. You know, as long as I kind of was talking about this yesterday. Remember, we saw quite a bit of red on the screen yesterday. I was like, well, let's just see whether these things start amming out. Look at this little one, CTI. Don't know what the story is there. Look at that cute little W, man. If you can get into the habit of hunting these little W's, you know, maybe you got off a really nice trade, got a risk-free trade kind of idea, and you're just riding the inertia of the market now. I don't know. But gee whiz, look at this huge structural W. That's like a weekly W. And actually, I told all students in the past, you know, the easiest way to keep yourself out of trouble in the markets is just hunt weekly W's. And actually, this is a really good example where, you know, you can see the original bottom. If we go reload zones, whoops, I got to flip that around. Boom, there we go. So, you know, you can't chase that. You see where the original bottom is. Let the market work its way right back down to the original bottom. And in comes another W right there. That's an absolute gift of a trade right there. So, like, seriously, folks, you want to make money at this? Like, I'll post this in the lounge. You know, TRIers, bookmark that. This is exactly what you're here to learn how to do. You got to be able to identify that as just an absolute incredible buying window. And, you know, there it goes. It's starting to take off. So there's your market state. It's a funny market, I'll tell you that much, by crackers. I don't know whether I really see Bitcoin really outperforming just yet. As I said, there are a couple names that are just absolutely killing it right now. You got Bitcoin up about 1.5%. I guess better part of 2% now. And I think really the easiest way to describe Bitcoin price action is this chart, right? We could very easily puke out somebody say the wrong thing, ETF kind of talk, blah, blah, blah. That Gensler guy actually comes out and says, hey, I'm not totally impotent. Look at me. I got a heart on and I'm coming after crypto or something. I don't know. Stupid. Um, we still have the bull flag objective up top. We still have this 50% level of the entire range. WD Gann sitting there saying, well, all of my hard work over my lifetime. That's his voice, by the way. This market's supposed to retrace 50% of its previous move, so it's just doing what it's supposed to do. And if we look at previous cycles, I thought it was interesting. This was the most recent crypto cycle. You notice that on a blow off top, there is the 50% level, and you can see on a weekly clothesline basis, we basically close right at that 50% level. WD Gann would be very happy. You can see on a blow off top here, they actually took it all the way up to 61.8. I don't know whether something like that can happen, but our current price chart looks a hell of a lot like that, doesn't it? Right? If we zoom back to today, I mean, does that look somewhat similar? Sure does, eh? So, there is that 61.8. It's interesting how I've said most recently, if we think look left, we've got this wick where there's a whole bunch of trap bulls that would probably like to get released. But horizontal support and resistance, if this was a futures chart and I was duding up my 4-hour levels, I would definitely put a line right on that high, and I would just label it resistance, and that actually becomes trade location for me if I'm trading futures contracts. And notice, oh, look at that, it's right on 61.82. Also, too, interestingly enough, if we go back, this is the high to high trend line, boom, boom. And notice how price seemed to respect it through here, seemed to respect it through here, seemed to really respect it. That is that empire top. It failed right off of that trend line level. And is that a realistic upside objective here going forward if we go into blow off top phase? Well, it's not unrealistic. Maybe we should change this to a brighter color so we can keep an eye on that. Regardless, this is why it's always dangerous to get into the business of calling tops and stuff like this. I mean, there's no M's anywhere in sight. We still have several technical objectives to the upside that could very easily be hit. But at the same time, too, you see where key support is. Somebody sneezes and says the wrong thing, and boom, price falls like $2,000 or $3,000 in a heartbeat. So can't really justify putting on new positions here, folks. I know I keep saying the same damn thing over and over and over, but this is, if anything, in the futures business, and actually this is kind of the similar, this is obviously a weekly chart, and what we did here today was the daily charts, but you could make the same argument that, this is kind of like this low, slong grind of death where we keep making higher highs and higher lows. Believe it or not, at some point, we should actually have some sort of blow off top. I guess you could kind of see it through this where, we had a rally, then a pullback, then a rally to new highs, then a pullback, rally, 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 rally. And it's just grinding, making higher lows, higher highs. And then all of a sudden, woo, the next big up leg comes. It's not really the same thing, but maybe you get the idea. So, I guess that maybe something like that. There might be a blow off top up here on the crude. I was more than happy to take profits on this day trade. So that's a different conversation altogether. So anyway, I mean, I will say, looking at this image, that's a bit shocking. I mean, basically, this is one directional. If we actually look at the Econs today, of course, everybody's worried sick about what these silly housing industry down in the States is doing. And that was really the only econ that came out today of really note. You have S&P Case Shiller Home Price Index. You notice on a month-over-month basis, still ticking higher, but maybe calming down a little bit. Year-over-year basis, you can see, and this is the problem, is here we are 3.9% when the market was actually looking for 2.5%. Is this old information? Is that why the market's not really impressed with this data point? I mean, I would have looked at this and gone, that's a bit problematic. Can't see how the Fed can lower interest rates in the face of that. But I have been told that this Case Shiller Home Price Index is actually smoothed. It's almost like it's a moving average of prices. So quite often moving averages are actually lagging a little bit. So maybe this data point is a little bit old. It's kind of like looking in the rear view mirror. I'm not quite sure. But I'm a little surprised to see the way the market is acting so bullishly right across everything with that actually printing higher. Now, I think what's happened here is you can see we got a whole bunch of Fed speakers all speaking. Here we are, 9:22. So these guys are all done. And I get the distinct impression that the speakers here have all basically come out today. I don't have the transcripts of them, so I can't really comment specifically. But I get the impression, just looking at price action, that the market heard from them unanimously. Is that the right word? Um, uh, we're done raising interest rates. And if anything, maybe we have to think about lowering interest rates going forward. I don't know. I mean, I'm quite shocked at how everything is lifting. I've told you guys in the past that usually gold and oil move in opposites. To actually have a day where gold is racing higher and oil is racing higher, and the stock market's racing higher and crypto is racing higher, something doesn't smell right here. Now, quite often they say that these things, usually this is like the end of the move. When everything all lifts all together, that's the end of the move. Only time will tell, I guess. I mean, when's our next Fed meeting? Chris, do you know offhand? Anybody in the common the cheap seats here? Anybody know when the next Fed meeting is? And Sjord is still waiting for his $600 bids to get filled on Bitcoin. So we'll see how that goes. Speaking of which, we do have Sjord on the call for our after party today. I kind of cut you off. So actually, let's see if we can get Chris to finish that. Chris, do you know when the next Fed meeting is?
The
I shouldn't really
12th
do
through
put
the
him on the spot.
13th.
Pardon me?
The 12th through the 13th, I believe.
12th to the 13th of December?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So even relatively soon here. Oh, that's interesting. So maybe this might be, maybe we in the after party, we can take a look at it. Is this sort of the final hurrah of the down move on the US dollar? Remember, we talked about this rolling top. I suppose you could make the argument, yeah, we've already drawn it. Fog and bombs to the downside. We're coming into that level. And I suppose if everything lifts, the gold lifts, the oil lifts, stock lifts, Bitcoin lifts. Hell, I think I even saw bonds rallying here today. I mean, how does that make any sense? The bonds are all going crazy and gold and oil is going crazy. This doesn't make any sense. Something is disconnected here. I don't know what it is, but something doesn't smell right about all this. What I would say is I get the feeling that maybe our US dollar index is coming into some sort of capitulation bottom, right? And since this is a risk off asset, if risk off is capitulating, then that means that risk on is capitulating to the upside and everything's all just orgy straight up. I don't know. It's a bit of a head scratcher here. You saw me scratching my head there a second ago. I mean, and also to add insult to injury, we go over and look at China, and actually the China trade's working its way lower. And I think I remembered saying to you guys the other day, well, let's watch if this M does decide to come in here, because then that means that the bears have got the ball. So go figure. North America and I guess Europe to a lesser degree, but North America just booming. I mean, crypto and Bitcoin futures up $1,700. Like, that's insane. What's interesting about this chart though is, I hate to, again, I think I've told you guys before, there's no way I can come in on the buy side here. You just have to wait till the idiocy plays itself out. But rising wedges are inherently what? So if anybody is a long-time market participant, you know what this actually implies going forward. And I hate to say it, but this was a pretty good example of a rising wedge. Although, come on, you. It doesn't want to cooperate, of course. There we go. And boom, down she goes. So just, understand that we're very nosebleeding. I mean, you can even see the 200 SMA on these futures charts. This is a daily chart too, sitting at 29,000. So there's like literally $10,000 of risk here. You can see the gaps on the price chart. The only problem is, they always say markets can remain illogical far longer than any of us can remain solvent. There was that Halloween event where the stock market flipped bull, and this thing has just been grinding its way higher. We've been getting lots of sort of indications from the broader crypto market that it wants to break. And then all of a sudden, the buyers just come storming right back. I suppose this is kind of a funny story from previous cycle. And I don't even know, like, theoretically, Trex should be dead now, eh? So all these coins that are just listed on Trex, I have noticed they've been dying 1,000 deaths here. So probably best to leave anything that's Trex related alone for the time being. Anyway, I had that on the screen, kind of joking with the audience about that. Hey, cute little one that's been doing well recently. I mean, geez, doesn't that look like a bull? Looks like a bull to me. Oh my goodness. And so I can't really like put a fork in air and call her done until we actually start seeing some things like M's come in price. I don't see an M there. And do we have bearish momentum divergences? Yeah, potentially. And then all of a sudden you can see, look at the buyers coming storming back. This is actually a really good application of our volume impetus, where now you can see we have one high in buying volume, a second high in buying volume. If today's volume actually finishes lower than this high, so we have a third lower high in volume, then if we get an up day that's less than this bar right there, that low bar right there, that actually tells you that the bulls have fallen asleep. So number one, let's see what happens here through the rest of today. We might just go blasting through these highs. No way of knowing right now. And then number two, if we do actually paint a lower high here, then do we actually start getting those volume impetus signals that the bulls have finally exhausted themselves? Here's yet another anecdotal piece of evidence that the market is ridiculously overbought. If I was sitting there at a brokerage desk and, clients called up and said, "Hey, I hear good things about this maple. I want to go and buy some," I would look at this and say, maybe maple's the next best thing since sliced bread. But right now, this is crazy. I would just leave this thing alone for now. And of course, you're going to start drawing. I could tell you exactly where I would be a buyer of this, and you all know exactly what I'm going to say here. There is reload zone. So, the price right now is 20 bucks. I'm more than happy to come in at less than half of what the current price is. So that's how dangerous this market is. But at the same time, too, don't get in front of this thing. It'll run you over. And if you are algo trading and you are getting signals to get off, well, you just got to bite the bullet. I did notice there was one gentleman in our pro trader room basically said, look, I've got a couple portfolios working, which is always good. I mean, you know how many different trading plans I have. I must have at least 10, 15 different trading plans. My crude oil day trading plan has absolutely nothing to do with my like investing plan. They're apples and oranges, but has nothing to do with like my Bitcoin and altcoin party little old lady plan. They're literally apples and oranges. So I think it's a good idea to run multiple plans. And if you are doing the algo trading plan, you might find that actually underperforms for a while. It's the way the market goes. So I think probably the most important thing here is risk management. Don't risk more than 5% of your stake on any one single bet, and just, process goals, like what I just showed you on the crude oil this morning. The biggest thing that made me happy this morning was following process goals. I did everything that I said I was going to do. I took the opening range trade, didn't really like the price action, decided to hop off, waited for a bullish setup. Every morning I tell you guys, well, I tell myself, because I do sort of positive affirmations. I'm the demonstrator of best practices. I will trade all valid setups. This setup came in, so I took it and live with the results. That's just the way trading goes. So look at that, gold up 30 bucks an ounce now. Ay caramba. Oh my goodness. All right. So yeah, we are coming into the tail end. And frankly speaking, there's not a hell of a lot more than I can add to the equation. I mean, everything is pointing up. Look at Bitcoin's going like parabolic now, along with Ethereum. Hell, even the total market's going. If anything, this is a great opportunity for you to come in and listen to our crypto expert. I've never met anybody in the space smarter than this guy. He is TRI CTO. He is smarter than I will ever be in the crypto space. And Tuesdays is all about Panacook Day at TRI. So come on over to the after party. Of course, he's got a list of fundamental names that he loves and that we're following very, very closely. And actually, he even has a page now on the TRI site with the pro members where you can come in and see exactly what he's interested in. Here are some of his names. And like I said, I was watching this rune very closely to see whether this market's going to top out. Now, you tell me. What letter of the alphabet is this thing putting in now? And you can even see it happening, right? What's that high there? 609. And today's high here? Oh, that's not right. 609. Oh, yeah, it is. 609. And our high here today so far, 6018. So if this thing trades 610, oh boy, there's more W's. Forget about your M's. This could be a harmonic, but I won't get into that. So let's go on over, listen to good old Sjord tell us a little bit about what he's seeing in the market, and also get a reminder of how wonderful life in Europe is these days. But, considering he's got the wind at his back in the marketplace, he should be able to make more money to pay off the bankster crooks and all the communist politicians out there who just basically want to steal all our money. So, all right. That's my rant here for, what is it, Tuesday? Turnaround Tuesday? There you go. Tuesday, 28th of November, coming into month end. As I said, feeling pretty good about being the demonstrator of best practices today for the little Top Step combine tryout thing. Accounts moving up nicely. I haven't hit their profit objectives yet to get them to get all excited at me, but as long as I keep following process goals, as I always tell you guys, follow process goals, make sure you behave correctly, and the money will take care of itself. All right, everybody, why don't we leave it at that? Have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. PMA for the win. Come on in. You can even take advantage of the 30-day trial to come and listen to Sjord in the after party. I tell you, just listening to him and following his lead in the crypto space is worth the subscription itself. So anyway, have yourselves a great day. All the best. Hugs and kisses. And the only thing left Brian say is bye for now.